feel like you've been like a grandma though since you were 20.
That's true. My mom told me I was born 45.
Aw, like Bella Swan.
Oh my god.
Welcome back to Chaotically Bookish. My name is Ashley.
My name is Annabelle.
And this week we thought you guys could get to know us better.
Yeah.
So our bookish journey, our favorite books, a quick this or that, rapid fire at the end.
Yeah, just like really get to know our personal interests.
Pretty much.
Where we're coming from. So you can like get a gist of when we say something that you don't agree with. You'll be like, well, yeah, I know. Annabelle's kind of a judgmental person, so I don't even want to listen to her.
All right, would you like to start?
All right, well, my name is Annabelle. I am 26 years old. I know, I'm so...
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
I mean, I'm getting close to 30.
No. Why would you live with that mindset? Why would you live with the mindset, I'm so close to 30?
I go to bed at 8:30. I think that's pretty geriatric, man.
I feel like you've been like a grandma though since you were 20.
That's true. My mom told me I was born 45.
Aw, like Bella Swan.
Oh my god, yes, she's my absolute role model in life.
Role model.
I was born in Toronto, Toronto, Canada.
Scarborough.
Represent 416. And then I moved to London from when I was 5 to when I was 15 years old.
And that's London, England, not London,
London,
Ontario.
England, yes, not London. So I have a bit of a dual accent. So sometimes if you guys hear me slip into something, that's where it comes from. And then I've been living in Vancouver ever since. I am happily engaged. And I'm a huge fucking nerd. Like literally anything nerdy. That's my thing. D&D, high fantasy, Tolkien. You know, I'm into it. What about you?
I'm Ashley. I'm 23. I almost forgot how old I was. And I've lived in Vancouver my whole entire life. I like fantasy books. I'm a writer. That's just about as exciting as I get.
You're way more exciting than that. Give yourself some credit.
Whenever someone like says like, "Oh, tell us about yourself," I'm like,
I have brown hair.
I have brown hair, and yeah. Like I can't tell you shit about my personality. I don't know why. We were talking about this the other day. You were like talking about your hobbies, and you're like, "Yeah, Ash, what are your hobbies?" I was like, "I like reading," and you're like, "There's so much more that you like than that." I was like, "Yeah, I just forget."
We're both really into Scream.
Oh yeah, like the Scream franchise, like the horror movie.
No, we just love screaming.
No, we just like screaming. Also, not wrong though.
No, not wrong. What else are we really into together? We love reading, obviously.
Obviously, love reading.
We both really like Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
We both really like Mario Kart.
We love Mario Kart. Oh my god. Somehow I have gotten worse.
I don't get that.
I started out decent, right? I was okay. I wasn't great. I didn't know how to drift, but like now 8th, 9th, 12th.
I mean, it's only like a tiny little difference though.
It's real bad. We also really love Animal Crossing.
Oh yeah, the amount of hours you've clocked in Animal Crossing since you got the game. You remind me of me.
No, it's when I figured out that I could time travel, I started playing way more because I was like, well, I have to wait. I have to order this and the next day it's going to show up. Nah. System settings, time.
I get the love of it. I get that it's supposed to be played and it's supposed to be casual and it's anxiety free, but like I'm trying to build a fucking library.
Yeah,
I need the books.
And I have to wait for these stupid bookshelves to show up in my mail the next day, and it's one at a time.
You can buy mass online from just other players.
I've yet to do that.
It's great. It makes all the difference. I needed like 12 bookcases and I just bought them off someone, like with bells, like not with real money. So I don't have the patience.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I want to go that deep into Animal Crossing.
I wouldn't. You can't come back out again. I feel like that's another thing about me is I either play video games or I read. There's no in between. I don't do both. I'm not like, oh, I'll play video games till 7 and then I'll read until bedtime. No, I'm like, I'm gonna play video games till I black out at 3 a.m. or I'm gonna read till I black out at 3 a.m.
That's so true. Anytime I see your stories and you're like, I'm playing Witcher, I'm like, she's not gonna read a book this whole week.
I haven't, since the Olympics started, I haven't touched a book.
I can't believe you're so into the Olympics.
I'm like the only person I know that's into the Olympics.
Like,
the way
genuinely.
I just want to watch snowboarding. I just want to watch hockey. And I just want to watch figure skating.
Okay, quick question.
Yeah.
Summer or winter?
Winter.
Winter.
Yeah, I only watch summer for volleyball.
Volleyball.
Yeah, I played growing up. Oh, there you go. Fun fact. I played volleyball.
She's also a dancer.
Oh, yeah. I only spent like 18 years dancing.
Girl was a ballerina.
Oh, man.
There's a lot of things that are super interesting about you, but like you just, we both speak French fluently.
Oh, yeah. We're bilingual.
Fun fact, Ashley was so proficient in French that she got kicked out of her French class in France.
What? Oh, yeah.
I like how I'm telling her fun facts about herself.
I forgot about that. Because I was the only person that like spoke French fluently, and the French teacher was like, you don't have to be here. So I would just stay home, and all like my classmates would go to French class.
I mean, you were literally in Paris. You could have gone anywhere.
I know. I really could have.
You could have gone anywhere.
There was a day where my roommate, she like met her boyfriend somewhere. Because her boyfriend was doing a field school as well.
Love in Paris.
Yeah, in Paris. Ask me what I did. I had the full day to myself. No school. No roommate. What did I do?
What'd you do?
Nothing. I walked down the block to McDonald's, brought back the food, and then watched TV in bed. Some McDo.
Gotta get some McDo.
No one believed me that they call it that. McDo.
It's so stupid. McDo. I mean, in England we say McDonald's. McDonald's, like really pronounce the Mac. But in Australia, they call it Macca's.
Yeah.
And we call it McDick's here.
We call it McDick's here.
Why don't we talk about that really long 3-hour conversation we had that made us best friends?
Oh my God. I like that you have all the memories. I must have like terrible memory, just short term, long term, whatever. Yeah.
So I think we mentioned it a little earlier, but me and Ashley, we weren't friends. We worked at a Schmicky Schmausch.
You hated me, and I was afraid of you because you hated me. I was like, I don't want to fuck with her. I kind of had
the reputation at the store that, like, I don't know, I was kind of like the store bitch, wasn't I?
Everyone knew not to fuck with you.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm here, I don't want to be here, but I am, and I'm going to make the best of it, but also the worst of it, so don't talk to me. I know, because
it was a polar opposite, because, like, when guests would come in, I was always like, hi, welcome, how are you guys doing, how can I help you?
There's nothing better than the customer service voice. Hi, welcome to the Schmizmy store.
Oh, it's a magical day at your Schmizmy store.
Whenever, just to trigger Annabelle, when I'm outside her house, I will call her and I'll be like, it's a magical day at the Schmizmy store. This is Ashley speaking. How can I help you?
Peaky Chain Jelly Bean.
Oh my God. Anyway, you were saying.
Yeah, so me and Ashley, we were not friends, to say the least. She was terrified of me and I did not like her.
Nope.
Because, she didn't do much.
It was my first job. I swear to God.
She just sat there and stared at the lights.
They were pretty.
But one day, we happened to be closing the Schmizmy Snore together, and we started talking, and I think you mentioned that you were in French immersion.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait. Oh my God, I was in French immersion.
Yeah.
And then it went to, I think you mentioned that you had a giant library in your room.
I think so.
And I was like,
so do I. It was like the weirdest things. Like, we bonded over the fact that we spoke French, and we bonded over books. And like, we hadn't really spoken before that. Like, we weren't like,
no,
friends.
Not at all.
And then we were both like, I don't know, let's go get ice cream. We both like ice cream. And so then we sat down.
Fun fact, we're both extremely lactose intolerant.
Lactose intolerant, but we're like, let's get ice cream. Fun fact though, Annabelle was never lactose intolerant until she made fun of me for it, and then Karma said, fuck you, Annabelle.
And the same thing happened to Ashley's boyfriend.
Yeah, same thing happened to my boyfriend. Anyone tests me and my lactose intolerance, I hate to break it to you, but you're gonna get it.
It's like a curse. You make fun of her, you got it.
There's some like amazing book characters with crazy powers and curse you, and I'm just like, I give you lactose intolerance, you fuck.
It's a very good power.
Thank you. It's one that devastates you. You know what I mean?
Permanent inconvenience.
Like I could Avada Kedavra your ass and kill you.
Yeah.
Or I could give you lactose intolerance as a pain in the ass for life. Pun intended.
Yeah, but like, yeah, we got ice cream and then we started asking each other like really, really bookish questions like, oh, Team Edward, Team Jacob. And like, we both like looked each other dead in the eye and we're like, Team Edward, Jacob's for pussy. Jesus. But, and then we were both like in Slytherin. We both like liked the same things. And then she got me into a certain series that I read.
That she now hates. But
that
we
I now
bonded over
hate.
Initially.
I didn't love it, but I did enjoy it for what it was, and it was fun. It was my first like kind of spicy book that I've ever read, and it bonded us. And you know, and that was a sign of true friendship because Ashley let me borrow her books that I returned in pristine condition.
You did because you're classy.
Exactly. She's the only person I would let borrow a book
People
from my
are
library.
afraid of me. Like they're afraid to borrow books. Like I give books to my grandmother and she's like, I will return it as you gave it to me. She like, and like my friend, like I gave it to my friend and she like reads it with the spine barely cracked. Like she's like afraid to bend the pages and crack the spine.
No, like, yeah, oh yeah. We are of the stance of if you crack your spine, you're a fucking psychopath.
You're a psychopath. I get it if it's like there's some super old books that I've just had forever that I'm like, you know, whatever, they're floppy, they're damaged, they're ugly, like what does it matter? But like a pristine
if you get a pristine paperback like from the store and the first thing your inclination is to just snap it, monster.
You know what fucks me up? People who like, and like to each your own, but like people who annotate or fold pages or rip pages or write in special editions or collector's editions.
Cracked. Absolutely cracked. Like I have my collector's edition of Addie LaRue from like the UK, the Waterstones edition of the first year. And that shit, I literally put it beautifully on my shelf and I haven't even looked at it. It's like, I refuse to like, yeah, I don't want to ruin the pages of the binding. And yeah, if you can't tell, I'm a little insane.
But I'm the same. Like, I don't want to.
No, it's a collector's edition, and it's not like I'm ever gonna sell my book. Like, no, maybe my kid will one day when they, when I'm dead.
You never know. Like, imagine this. Imagine you have like Once Upon a Time when it was, before it was serious. Like you had a first edition Harry Potter, and you're like cracking the spine and shit, and now it's worth like
those things are worth like
millions, whatever. Like, can you imagine? So, like, what if these fancy editions of Once Upon a Broken Heart are one day worth $10 million, but I've just snapped the spine in half?
I think that's asking a lot of this one book.
I'm aware.
This spin-off book.
But, I'm a freak about my normal, just my normal books. I won't.
The only time I'm, like, really careful, or I'm not careful at all, is if I got a paperback of a copy that I already own, then I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna like go for it.
I often do that. Like if I want to annotate outside of, like I use sticky notes, like that's fine. But like if I want to annotate, if I really want to write in, highlight, etc., I'll purchase like a paperback that I don't need.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the correct way to do it. I have upped my annotating game though. I got clear sticky notes.
Are they colored clear?
No, they're like transparent.
So they're colored transparent?
Yeah.
See, where did you get those?
Amazon.
Damn. All right.
Not a plug for Amazon.
But it is.
They're so good. Like, I'll write on them and then I'll put them like exactly where I had the thought.
Nice.
It's beautiful.
I gotta find some of those because mine are like, I have this large case of just a ton of colored sticky notes and they're solid. I've had it forever. So.
And like if you a little bit to know about me, I'm an aesthetics whore.
Yes.
Like dark academia, that is my stuff. I live and breathe and die by that fucking aesthetic. But I like even bought like the little tabs. I got them in like a color scheme that I like, and they're all like autumnal colors.
Those, I think that looks so much, especially like if you super love your books and stuff like that. I feel like that looks so classy.
And I only annotate like books that provoke thought. Like I'm not going through Twilight and annotating it. But I think the first book I've actually like properly annotated was the Atlas Six, because there was just so much information, and I'm like, no, I gotta remember this.
Speaking of the Atlas Six, like I haven't read it, but
You should.
My friend gave me the book for Christmas, and it's the one that was self-published version.
Yeah.
Do you know how much that book is going for now?
No.
Like $300.
What? Why?
Because she has a deal now with a new cover with a publishing house, and it's being sold on like Indigo, Barnes and Noble. So now what is considered like a really rare book, because it's not sold anymore in this cover.
You can still get it on Amazon.
Oh, well, apparently not. I guess not in the States then, and not in Europe and stuff like that. Maybe, as far as I've seen online.
$15 book.
I know.
And that's Canadian prices.
Yeah.
Because I know if you guys are American listening, $15 paperback is probably a little ludicrous to you guys. Maybe. I don't know. But like
we're talking, we buy hardcovers for $35, $40.
Yeah. For adult
books, yeah.
And like YA goes anywhere from like $22 to $25 for a hardcover.
Yeah.
So $15 paperback is like dirt cheap to me.
Yeah, 100%. I bought a paperback that was like $30, and I was like, for what?
Was it The Graduate?
Yeah.
Oh my god! But at least it was signed.
It was.
So you got your money's worth, I guess.
Did I? I haven't even read it, and I hear mixed things about it. Like I hear people don't really enjoy it. So there's that.
I read. This is a bit of a tangent. We're talking about Naomi Novik, but I read her book. Oh no, what is it called?
Oh yeah, you were saying you hated it.
I hate it. Uprooted. It was.
I hadn't heard about it until
bad. It was bad. And I know a lot of people love it, but like this is, see, I gave you the disclaimer at the beginning. Annabelle's judgmental as fuck, so maybe throw her opinion in the trash.
Annabelle reads very critically.
Very critically.
And I think that's like a huge difference between me and you. Like when I pick up a book, like I always rely on Annabelle because she's read a book and she read it critically, so I can go to her and be like, tell me all about it.
Hey, is this book problematic?
Yeah, because like when I read, I just get so lost and absorbed in the world and the story that I'm not like reading like super critically, which is unfortunate, but I feel like I did that my whole degree, so I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
I like how she's the one with the English degree and I'm the one who reads critically.
I mean, you do it long enough, you're like, please, no more. If I have to critically read Jane Austen one more time, I'm gonna lose it.
Whereas I read Jane Austen for fun.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Yeah, so maybe we should talk about our reading styles and like books that we really gravitate towards. You go first.
Sure. Like I said, I generally, strictly, almost entirely only 95% read fantasy. And that's either YA or NA or adult, I don't care. But
NA, is that a real genre? Is that
are we gonna get into this?
I mean, we shouldn't we?
Sure. I would say so. I think it should be.
I think it should be.
And for those of you who don't know, NA stands for new adult.
Yes. So YA is young adult, and then it usually in in standard publishing it goes young adult or adult fiction. But there's this new genre that I think they're really pushing for, which is new adult. Which is anyone 18 to 24, I believe. The main character has to be around that age.
I'd say so. It's like, like upper YA.
Yeah.
I guess you could argue.
Which has like
spice.
It can have spice.
Darker themes.
Yeah. More graphic language.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. I don't really read like contemporary or just straight fiction.
And we've established we don't like romance.
Yeah, we just don't. Some of my favorite books, I hate getting asked what my favorite books are because then I can't always remember. Caraval is like my all-time favorite trilogy.
It's our whole personality.
It's my whole personality. I read it like as it came out back when it was coming out, obviously. And
2010? No, later.
No, closer to 2016, I think.
Right.
I genuinely can't.
I think this was when I took a break from reading, is when Caraval came out. Maybe. So I was never part of the hype.
Yeah, I loved it. And I love the spin-off, Once Upon a Broken Heart. Six of Crows is also great. I'm blanking now what my favorite books are. Oh, I really enjoyed the Inheritance games.
Oh
I
yeah,
read that
you keep
series
trying to
last
tell
year.
me to read it.
It's really fun. It's like Knives Out, but teenagers.
I love Knives Out.
It's good. Yeah,
You love From Blood and Ash.
I do.
Yeah.
It's less like From Blood and Ash and more just I love like vampire novels. I
Is
always
it
have.
vampire though? Like that's something I wanted to ask you, because I know you like it. I know you say that you like it because of the vampire aspect. But I read the first book and there was like barely vampires.
It's because it's it's the big reveal.
Spoiler alert.
It's not really a spoiler. I mean, like they mention it. They say like
It's in the blurb,
yeah, but it goes into it more in like the second book for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the vampire lore does come into play.
Yeah, it's a pretty important part. But
I know, because it gets marketed as a vampire book, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, what do
You're
you
like,
mean it's a
where?
vampire book? I read the whole first book. It's like barely in it.
it's like the last like 3 chapters of From Blood and Ash, and then the entirety of the rest of the series.
Any other things that you're like super into?
I can't like think of anything.
I know, I keep putting you on the spot.
I know. You know me better than I do. What do I like? Yeah.
Yeah, Twilight,
Oh yeah.
Harry Potter.
Twilight
I
got me
guess.
into reading.
Yeah,
But
yeah. All right. Well,
just
for
wanna-
me, oh no,
See?
yeah.
It's so hard.
Well, Six of Crows is like my favorite. I think it's my favorite book of all time. I think that duology was absolute perfection. Like, I have this mentality that if you didn't like Six of Crows, this is a very hot take.
Oh, no.
If you didn't like Six of Crows, you're a bad person. I don't mean that, but I mean, give me valid reasons why you don't like it. Because if you say it's boring or I was lost, then like you just didn't read the book.
God.
Again, I'm gonna be the one with the polarizing opinions in this podcast.
I'm just like, read what you want and have fun. And Annabelle's like, you suck.
You suck. You're a bad person. Yeah, I'm the same with you. I love fantasy. I think I veer towards more like high fantasy. That's really my jam. I'm starting to read the Wheel of Time series.
Because you watched this TV show.
I did watch the TV show and I fucking loved it. But pray for me. It's I think it's 14 books.
Oh, not worth my time.
Oh no, but I love all things high fantasy. I'm a big Tolkien nerd. I love D&D. So anything with elves and dwarves and like insane magic systems, your girl is there. I was even like a big Game of Thrones person until we shall not speak of the ending of that show. But I love the book so far. I just don't think that author is ever going to finish those books because I think he wrote himself into a corner and he knows it.
I would also argue that. I haven't read the books, but from like what I see, everyone's like, he's not writing that book.
He's not. I think he wrote the next book in the series, but like he refuses to publish it.
I mean, I would. Like if you had a successful book series and TV series that went to shit, like we're talking like
people. Okay, I like to this day, if you bring up Game of Thrones, the TV show, with me, my blood starts to boil. Like,
so does my boyfriend's. So does Nick's. He
I'm
just gets
so angry.
Because like you spend so much time investing and then they wreck it.
Like it
There's no
started
reason
in
for that.
2011. I was definitely not the age group that should have been reading those books or watching that TV show. But how old was I in 2011? That was 10 years ago. So I was like 16.
Yeah.
I was a little young.
I was 13 and 2011.
See, the age difference is very apparent when we go back.
Yeah, but like now it's not so
Getting
apparent.
close to 30.
Oh my god. Take a shot. New drinking game. Take a shot every time Annabelle stresses about her age.
You will stress when you're my age.
I'm already stressed. I've been stressed since I was born.
Dude, you said, oh my god, I'm going to be 25.
I'm allowed the quarter life crisis. You had yours already.
I had my quarter life crisis at 20.
You had your quarter life crisis at 12.
I did. As for other books, I really like dark academia books. I don't know if it doesn't really qualify as a genre, but I really
does.
love books that are set in like the 1930s. I love historical books. Anything set in a school, anything with morally good characters, anything with people wanting to kill each other to get a better position. That's the stuff I live for. That
shit we live for. If you're looking for a great school read, I've got a book for you.
Oh, dang.
You should read the Crave series.
Oh my God.
Dark Academia.
She literally she was reading and she's like, it's like Twilight, but better. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
It's just so funny.
And you're like, yeah, it's Dark Academia. It happens in a school. So my dumbass, started reading it. And let's just say it was not for me.
The second book in that series was fire.
I could not convince myself to read that first one.
The second book, fire.
It's so big. And for what?
Where? I read the third book. I got about 100 pages left of the third book. I did not finish it.
Wow.
It's just so much exposition.
You didn't finish the last book?
No. There's 3 coming out this year, though.
Wait, I thought it was done.
No.
There's more?
So, yeah, book 5. Wait, no. Book 4 comes out. Comes out? I don't know when it came out. I think it comes out in March. Or maybe it came out in February.
What?
Nope, it came out in February. And then there's another book coming out soon. And then another book at the end of the year.
That's insane.
I know.
I refuse to read them.
There's some like book series where people are like, could you imagine like your favorite book series? Like I'm in the middle of like From Blood and Ash. Obviously, I have to wait a year for the next book, etc. Every time a book comes out. But could you imagine if JLA was like, I'm releasing the next 3 books this year? I would
die.
Shit tears.
But JLA is pretty like fast with like releasing books.
She does a pretty good job of like every year on the dot. Like I read The Crown of Gilded Bone last March.
Cassie Clare used to be good like that, but I think she took a break.
Maybe.
I think so. It was a mental health break.
I feel like it's super impressive. Like both Cassie Clare and JLA have these chunky books, and they like were producing every year.
That's insane. No, and it's like, yeah, Cassie Clare's books, man, they're
chunky.
Chunky boys.
Do you like chunky books, or I prefer smaller books?
I mean, I literally said I love high fantasy. Have you seen the size of those books?
I feel like my sweet spot is 400 pages.
I think it depends on the type of book. Like if it's high fantasy, give me the chunky boy, because I want the exposition. I want the world building. I want you to give me like, give me the nitty gritty of the magic system. This is so interesting. I'm copying this down for my D&D campaign kind of thing, you know? But if it's a YA book and it's more than 400, why?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
especially if it's going to be a series. Like my best example is Defy the Night by Bridget Kemmerer.
Yeah, if it's more than 2 books, it should not be more than 400 pages.
No, like her book was really good. I really enjoyed Defy the Night. However, it was about I'm gonna say it was 450-ish. I feel like if she tacked on another 100 or 200 pages, it would have been an amazing standalone. Obviously, she's known for these crazy twists and stuff like that. So maybe something else is going somewhere else, but just in that situation.
Wait, did she write the books that was the Beauty and the Beast retelling?
Curse So Dark and Lonely.
That could be a million authors. Did she write a Beauty and the Beast retelling?
What's a retelling that you like absolutely are so tired of?
Beauty and the Beast.
Okay, besides Beauty and the Beast, that's too easy.
Oh, Hades and Persephone. Please,
classic
please,
smut.
for the love of God, please make it stop.
I asked this question on my Bookstagram like months ago, and because like, you know, Cinderella's overdone, Snow White's overdone. Someone said Romeo and Juliet, and I was like, oh, hot take.
I don't feel like Snow White's overdone. I can't even think of one that had Snow White.
I feel like maybe movies it's overdone.
Movies, yeah. But yeah.
Well, Snow White was really popular like early 2010s, book-wise. I vividly remember that because I had a ton of those books.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so with me and reading, I was super into reading as a child, and then I took a break, and then I started reading again when Twilight came out, and then after, I think it was maybe 2015, I stopped reading again, and then I got back in when I was around 20. So there are big chunks of book history,
classic book history
that I just did not participate in.
See, I wasn't really big on reading as a kid, but I knew that my parents were, and so my mom would get me reading through Goosebump books.
Hell yeah!
And then, you know, like as Twilight really got me into like YA really and YA fantasy, and then BookTube was the downfall for me.
BookTube was my whole life. Poland Banana Books 20. Christine, X-Teen May.
Yeah.
Oh, I was anything she recommended, I was like, okay, I guess I gotta go get that.
Just so invested in it that like I had this like little like 2-shelf bookcase that I had stuffed with all my books, and I had by that time I had convinced my mom, and suddenly this little 2-shelf bookcase became 3 bookcases of like 6 shelves each.
How many bookshelves do you have now?
4.
Me too.
Yeah.
4 full Billy bookcases, and then I have an antique bookshelf in my bedroom with just paper bags.
Yeah,
it's a problem.
See, so like I feel like I didn't have a bookish gap. Because
no, you didn't. Because I feel like
Twilight,
you know way more about books than I do.
Especially early books, I think. Like,
yeah.
I went from Twilight to Hush Hush to like...
Hush Hush.
Yeah, classic. To like all books in that sort of era. And then, you know, Avatar and etc.
For me, when the Twilight books started to become every book, that's when I was like, okay, I'm done.
Everyone was following the algorithm because it was successful.
Yeah, because I think I read Hush Hush, and then I can never remember the name of the series. I think it was called Evermore.
Oh my fucking God. I know exactly what you're talking about because I have the first 2 books on my bookcase.
Kill me.
I remember that. I wanted to read it because I thought it was Twilight, and then the second book did the Twilight thing.
It
and
was
I was
so
like,
bad. I think it was called Blue Moon.
Yeah, it was. And I was like, I've already gone through it with Belle and Edward. I'm not doing it with you two.
No.
What is it? I don't know if you can call that a trope. However,
second book syndrome.
The second book, not second book syndrome, but the second book where the man steps away from the love interest, and it's for the love interest's best interest, but the man chooses it and removes the agency. Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
Like, Twilight did it, Evermore did it, Hush Hush did it, but he went further, and I'm not going to spoil it.
Because we want you to read those books,
you to read Hush
even
Hush.
though we never finished the series.
No, I got halfway through the 3rd book.
Yes,
and I was like, this is bullshit.
I just got mad. I was so into it too because I was like, oh, Patch is different than Twilight and
I
Edward.
love Patch.
He's like moodier.
That was my first like book where it introduced such a major trope, which was like, I have to kill you and then we're falling in love kind of thing, which isn't a spoiler. It's on the back of the book.
It's so good.
It's good. I don't think I could. I want to though. I want to try.
I want to reread
that series. I have an extra Crescendo, which is the 2nd book, and it was like gifted to me from a friend because she wrecked the 1st book. So I was, for Bookstagram, I was stripping the pages out of it, like the extra copy to use, and I was like reading as I was stripping, and I was like, "Fuck, I gotta reread this book." It was just so out there. It was so outland. Like, I don't know how much you remember.
I don't remember a lot.
The plot from 1st to 4th book is wild.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a book that I think they made a TV show.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure it was Hush Hush, but I think I'm wrong.
No, so they wanted to make a TV show, and in 2018, I know way too much. In 2018, they announced a cast for it, but it hasn't been greenlit. Like, it's not going forward as far as I know.
No, there is a trailer on YouTube about fallen angels.
Oh, you're thinking of Fallen.
Okay, maybe I read that book too. I think I did read that book.
It was
is it like a gothic cover with a girl with a black dress and she's like covering her face? Oh my God.
I read like half of that 1st book and then I did not continue.
Yeah, me too. I think there was also a book called Nevermore, which was like a Edgar Allan Poe thing, but the main boy was like this emo guy. And it was like straight up, like he was full on emo. Like he had black hair that was plastered over one eye. And I'm like,
the books that made us.
They're genuinely the books that made us.
Oh my gosh. Did you read, I'm assuming you read Divergent.
Of course.
Yeah. Did you read all of them?
I dropped out of Insurgent.
Me too. I dropped out halfway.
Bad.
It was just stupid.
The first book was so good. The first book
was so good.
Like, genuinely. I thought it was even, like, not better than Hunger Games, because I know Ma'am hasn't read it.
I haven't, but go off.
No, but I was like, this is so interesting. Like, this is actually a really, really interesting concept. And I didn't mind Triss. I thought she was cool. I mean, things could be said about 4. I'm pretty sure he was an adult.
I don't know. I'm sure.
Well,
I can't remember now.
If you guys have watched the movie, the actor who plays 4, I love him, by the way, but he looked old enough to be her uncle.
That's because I think it also doesn't help that Shailene Woodley looks so young.
So young.
She looks like a child.
I don't like her. But that's for other reasons.
You don't like anyone. I swear to God.
I like a lot of people. I just there are some people's faces and their personal choices that really ruin it for me.
Oh my God.
I think I remember Shailene Woodley from American. Oh, what was that TV show that she was in?
American Horror Story?
No.
I was gonna say she's not in that.
No, she's not in that. No, it was like a teenage American.
The Secret Life of the American Teenager.
That fucking TV show. What was that? That was like American Degrassi.
I was addicted to that show. Just the first season though, because when she has the baby, it's like, what's the point? I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, you were either an American Teenager fan or you were a Glee fan.
Ooh, my family liked Glee because we liked musicals, and then it just started getting way too out of pocket, and we were like, what the fuck are we watching?
Will Schuester is like a nightmare
Sussy
demon. He's your sleep paralysis demon.
He's my sleep paralysis demon, I swear to God.
I think we should talk about how we got, like, how our love of books really prompted our, like, Bookstagram journeys.
Oh, yeah. Fun fact, I tried to start, well, I didn't try. I think I was attempting to start a Bookstagram when I was like 16.
Yeah.
Because my handle, which is Ashes Reads, was already, it was already there. I already had it. And I was like, because when I went to make a Bookstagram last year, I was like, when did I make this? And there was like one picture of one book. So I definitely tried to make a Bookstagram because I think BookTube was so prominent in my life.
Right.
But I don't know, the pandemic hit and I was like, I'm reading a fuck ton. Why not just do this? Because like I was on BookTok and I was like, this is so much fun and I like watching their videos. What if I made my own? Like, what if I took myself out of my shell?
Wasn't it reading after reading Crown of Gilded Bones that you were like, I need to talk about this?
No, I hadn't. Instagram got me on From Blood and Ash.
Oh, really?
It was my first review, though.
Right.
I think it was my first post, even, honestly, maybe. But I was on BookTok first.
Were you?
Yeah.
Damn. Because I remember you, like, shame came out to me.
I did, because I haven't told anyone. Like, I don't tell people that I have a Bookstagram. I don't tell them I have a BookTok. I haven't told them I have a podcast. They just find it. It's a fucking joy when, like, my friends are like, hey, found your Bookstagram. And I'm like, cool. It's like you make content for...
Was I the first person you told? Other than Nick?
Other than, like, my parents? Yes.
Damn.
And you, like, yeah, it was like a shame thing, too. I was hoping that you would just kind of brush over it.
But I didn't even take the shit out. I didn't even take the piss out of you. No. I was just like, that's really cool.
And then you did it.
Yeah, and then I did it, and I regretted it. Yeah. So I started because she started, and I was just like, oh, that seems like fun. I like to take pictures of books. I'm like really like, as I said, whore for aesthetics. So I was like, oh, I'll do it. I just got really involved really quickly.
Yeah.
And like I met some questionable people on this platform. We shall not go into that, but yeah, it just got to be too much for me, and I felt like it was a lot of pressure, and the pressure was from no one but myself. So I deactivated the account, and I regret it so badly now because I tried to get it back and it says the account doesn't exist, and it was 2,000 followers just gone.
And I think that's like Bookstagram and BookTok are great, but it's a struggle to know when to step back, I find.
Yeah.
Like there's days like where I'm super busy and I don't post, and I'm like, oh man, because I post Monday to Friday. I don't post on the weekends though. And
we used to though.
We used to post 7 days a week, and there's some people that do, and like good for them.
Yeah.
Especially if they're building
I really
a
respect
brand.
that ethic.
But like if it's just for fun, I had to learn. Like I was like, the follower count doesn't matter, the like count doesn't matter, the comments don't matter, how aesthetic my post is doesn't matter.
No,
we're just sharing bookish content, and we're happy to do that.
Yeah,
that's
exactly
what it has to be.
Which is why I came back recently.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I need to, like, I keep trying to remind myself, because I only have like 20 followers now, which is fine. Like, again, it's not a big deal. And I need to remind myself that, like, oh, you don't need to make stories. You don't need to try and boost engagement. You don't need to do all of that. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. You're just sharing things you like, and just do that and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
And if you get a discourse out of that, or if you make friends, like, that's cool.
That's all the better.
Yeah.
I had to like set myself rules. Like I had to like be like, okay, at 9 a.m. I post, And after I post, I'll add the hashtags to the post. I will add it to my story, and I will share my friends' posts.
Yeah.
But I try to keep it to only my friends and the people that like, you know, the mutuals that I've made.
Yes.
And the friends that I've made on Bookstagram. And then I'm off of it for the day.
No, I got sucked into like engagement groups.
Yeah, no.
Like, I didn't even want to be part of it, but like, I had been friends with someone who made an engagement group, and she's just like, oh, well, like, you should join, like, you really need to do it. And I'm like, oh my God. And I was sharing like 20 people's posts, people I don't even talk to.
Yeah, your stories were crazy.
Yeah.
You had so many posts you were sharing. I was like, how do you know this many people?
I didn't know most of them. Some of them were really nice, but like, again, it was just so much work, and like having to engage with their content, having to comment, because it's like, it looks bad that they're doing this and then you're not doing it. And it became this whole like, you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back.
Yeah.
And it was way too much for me to deal with.
Yeah. I had to remember, like, I want to share people's posts not because I expect them to share back, but I'm sharing people's posts because I genuinely like them as a person. I want to see them grow. I like what they've shared.
Yeah.
It's a tough line to cross, especially when you're like starting out, because like neither of us outside of Bookstagram are really big on social media.
No.
Like I post like maybe twice a year on my personal account and like you don't ever post either. So like for us to get on Bookstagram was like a whole other ballpark.
Yeah.
Because we were suddenly so obsessive about it, because
so obsessive.
We hadn't really been social media people.
Well, yeah, I like, this is a bit of a PSA for those who are thinking about getting a Bookstagram. Like, I will have more negative opinions than Ashley does because I just had a more negative experience because I really pushed myself. But like, be very aware that the people you meet online, you know, remember that you met them online. You don't know them. But also, don't get obsessed with the numbers. Don't fall into the Instagram prey like mindset, because remember, you're just making this platform a bunch of money and you're not getting anything for it unless you have sponsors and all that stuff. But when you're starting out, it is for fun. Let it be for fun. Don't get obsessed with the numbers. Don't be like, oh my God, well, like sharing gets my engagement up and I need to share other people's posts and I need to save this and I need to do that and blah, blah, blah. And then get upset when like people follow for follow or any of those things. It's a whole thing. And if you're going into Bookstagram or Booktok or any of that, you should be going in because you want to talk about books. And you want like, and you don't need to be obsessed with the aesthetic either. Literally take a picture of a book outside or against a wall and talk about it.
There's people who are like super successful on Bookstagram and they don't have a theme. They just take a picture of their book wherever they go. Yeah. And that's like super great.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like I do it now. I continue to do it like after you stopped, because I was like, I enjoy sharing the books. I enjoy hearing people's opinions. I like the friends that I've made and I was happy doing it. But
because you didn't get too deep.
No, I didn't get too deep. I stayed surface level because I don't want to dive down and get stuck in it.
No.
Like I want to be able to enjoy my weekend without being like, oh my God, how is my post doing today? And like, you know, I just want to
and that's something that like genuinely is true. Like we used to get depressed.
Yeah. Especially because the algorithm on Instagram and even especially TikTok
right now,
it can be very frustrating and you don't know what you're doing wrong. And you're not doing anything wrong. No. It's just what Instagram and TikTok choose to push.
Yep.
And that's unfortunate and it can really get you down.
Yeah, because like sometimes your posts would do like thousands of likes and then sometimes it's like 100. And you're like, what? What did I do?
I know. So right now on Instagram, I have 3,200 followers. I average likes wise on my posts like 200. Because
that's
Instagram,
bad, man.
I know, because they don't show. And some days, like Instagram's like, here's like 2,000 likes. And I'm like, thanks. But most of the time, it's not showing my followers my post. And that's like, it's frustrating. It's frustrating, but I have to be like, well.
Yeah, and we both needed to like really take a step back and be like, it doesn't matter.
No, at the end of the day.
There's nothing we can do about it.
No, at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? If the mutuals that I'm friends with see my post and I get to see theirs, that's all I care about.
Exactly.
I just want to support them. I want to hear their opinions. I want to talk to them. And if Instagram says, I'm not going to show this to all your followers, that's fine.
That's fine. Yeah, exactly. Like same thing with the podcast. Like, this is just for us to get it out of our system. But yeah, I think we should definitely not see social media as a all-consuming, being. You know what I mean? All right, let's go into a quick rapid fire game of this or that, just so you guys get to know like what we're really into.
I'm
All
terrible at this or that.
You can do it. You can do it. Okay, first let's go fantasy or sci-fi.
Fantasy.
Fantasy. Movies or TV.
TV.
TV. Romance or mystery.
Mystery.
Mystery. Hero or villain.
Villain.
Villain. Standalone or series.
Series.
Standalone.
Really?
Yeah. Even though I went into this whole like thing about I love high fantasy, I think a quick standalone's a good palate cleanser.
I do too.
Yeah. All right. Single POV or multiple?
That's a really hard one. I think it depends, but
I like multiple.
I'm going to say single.
Really?
Because too often there's a POV, at least one or two, like a point of view that I just don't care about, and it's a lull. And then I'm less likely to enjoy the book.
I think if you're going to do multiple POV, like how Lee Bardugo does it, that like it's necessary to see it from someone's point of view. That you're like, you shouldn't be seeing it from this person's point of view because then you would like, it would unravel the whole plot.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, but I understand where you're coming from.
There's just some books that are just way too many points of view, and I'm like,
most
please.
fantasy books. All right. Do you like first person or third person when it's written?
That's also hard.
Third person.
I think third as well.
Yeah, because sometimes first person can get really whiny.
It can also just get, I don't know how to
Repetitive.
describe it. Repetitive.
No, definitely, yeah. It can be too much of an insight into like a character's mindset for
Just
sure.
a little too deep.
A little too deep.
A little too much info.
How about audiobooks or physical books?
Physical books.
Physical books.
Yeah, I can't. My ADHD's bad. I can't focus on an audiobook most of the time.
I see. Like, I think I'm the complete opposite. Like, I need to be doing something else,
Interesting.
or I'll get bored.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I'll have an audiobook going at like 3 times the speed, and I'll be doing something else. Like, I'll be embroidering, or I'll be doing work, or
That's smart.
whatever. Yeah.
I listen to audiobooks when I'm working or when I'm like playing video games. Is a good one.
Yeah. I can't do video games
Really?
and audiobooks because I don't know. I feel like my brain's too concentrated on playing
It's
the
good
video
for
game.
like Mario Kart and Animal Crossing.
Yes.
But I feel like you get into like Zelda, you get into Witcher.
I play Skyrim a lot, so
Yeah. So then it's not really.
no, it's not good. Graphic novels or comic books?
Comic books.
I like graphic novels. There's like some really good graphic novels out there.
I haven't read a graphic novel ever.
I will give you some recommendations.
Please do.
Fiction or nonfiction?
Fiction.
I think both have their merits.
Are you a nonfiction person?
I like nonfiction, yeah.
Nah.
I really love history books, and I love like when people do like deep dives on stuff. Yeah.
I feel like I'm just too fresh out of college.
That is true. I feel like that's why you don't like really like super thought-provoking stuff, because you're like, I don't want to analysis
I
this.
just want to, I'm reading to escape. If you give me something I have to think about, I'm gonna frickin' lose it.
I'm gonna frickin' lose it. Do you like to read one book at a time, or do you like having multiple going at the same time?
Multiple.
Same.
But again, I have bad ADHD, so I forget which one I'm reading at the time.
You're also like a huge mood reader.
I am.
Yeah.
Like I currently have 5 books going right now.
Really?
Yeah.
What are they?
I'm reading Steel Striker by Marie Lu. I'm reading The Hobbit. I'm reading...
You'll never finish reading The Hobbit.
I'll never finish reading. I'm reading These Violent Delights. I'm reading an arc that I received, and I'm reading The Poppy War.
Damn.
Yeah.
And you're like, what am I feeling today?
Yeah, I genuinely... Because I can't, like... The Poppy War is great. It's just too long. Like, it's just too... Well, not too long. Too long is a bad way to say it. It's just so much information, and it's great.
Yeah, 'cause
but
it's
I
fantasy.
can't...
It's like high fantasy.
Yeah, I can't tolerate it for that long. So I have to read a couple chapters, put it down, read some Steel Striker. But then with Steel Striker's too much and I want something a little bit more classic, then I'm like, okay, The Hobbit. But then if I'm like, oh man, I gotta get this arc read, so then I'm like reading the arc. But then I'm like, oh damn, I need some enemies to lover, so I'm like, here's some These Violent Delights.
I don't think I can have more than 3 books going at the same time. I'm reading Guild by Raven Kennedy.
Wait, is it the audiobook? Are you reading the audiobook? You're a crackhead.
Dude, like, for those who love this book, please keep loving this book. This is a me problem. This is not a you problem. I cannot read spicy books. Like the moment they get way too spicy, I'm just like, I'm out. I just and I know the whole point of that book is that it's spicy. I know.
You do it to yourself too.
I do it to myself. I just read these like reviews and everyone's just like, oh my god, I love them, and I'm like, I want to love them too. I get hard FOMO.
Oh my god.
And then I'm also reading We Free the Stars, which
I have to get back into that book.
If you love lyrical writing, if you love beautiful fantasy stories, if you love enemies to lovers done correctly, if you want like your heart to be broken and then gently put back together and then broken and then put back together beautifully with gentle hands, please read We Hunt the Flame. Like, please read it. It's so fucking amazing. I'm in love with this book.
I've never heard anyone describe a book that way, but it was great.
And then I'm also reading People We Meet on Vacation.
How are you liking that? Because that's not like up your alley.
No, it's not up my alley, but I actually really like it.
Nice.
Yeah. See, I can do romance. It's just, it needs to be kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like rom-com vibes. I'm into that.
Are you having a good reading year so far?
So far, yeah. I've read 8 books in January. I read 8 books.
I read 4.
I'm so surprised by myself.
I feel like the start of the year for me is always shitty reading wise. Like I get distracted.
It's always the end for me.
Yeah. Really? It's at the end where I'm like, I want to meet my goal. So I just start like ingesting a book a day without fail.
No, at the end, because it's like, it's the holiday season and I'm just so busy that I'm just like, fuck it, I don't care.
It's November.
Also seasonal depression.
Oh, that too. See, December, I fall off the bandwagon. But in November, I'll read like a bajillion books to catch up.
Books that are like 25 pages and you're like, it counts.
It counts. Do you count audiobooks
as
a book read? Yeah, so do I.
Audiobooks are reading.
There's an argument where like, if you haven't physically read the book, it doesn't count. Which I don't agree with.
I think that's ableist.
It is, 100%.
No.
I read this article that was talking about audiobooks and it was like, at the end of the day, why are they asking you that question?
Yeah.
Why are they saying, do audiobooks really matter? Because like,
you read the book.
Yeah, what's the point of the question?
That's really ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't
like that.
No.
Any sort of reading is reading. Yep. Whether if it's being read to you or you are reading it yourself or you are reading it on a Kindle or you are went to a magical land and a caterpillar tells you magically what happened in this book and it like it's transferred through your consciousness.
That'd be sick.
You read it. All right, and that's our show. So don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Chaotically Bookish, for filmed podcasts. Hopefully we get to that at one point. And for future lives. Also, be sure to rate us and follow us on Instagram at Chaotically Bookish Podcast. You can find Ashley on Instagram and TikTok by @AshesReads. And you can find me on TikTok and on Instagram by @ManyWeatheredPages. I think we both also have Goodreads. If you want to follow us, I think it's the same handle, ManyWeatheredPages for me, and for Ashley, it's @AshesReads. You want to contribute to our show, send us some funny stories, book recs, more or anything else you want to send us, you can send it to our email. It will be linked in the description. Stay safe, enjoy a good book, and we'll see you next Wednesday, guys. Thanks, guys. Bye.